Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. Today we'll be talking about the upcoming new moon coming up in the zodiac sign of Sagittarius. And as the moon and the sun will be in the zodiac sign of Sagittarius, we have this potent Sagittarius energy. And when it comes to Sagittarius, it comes to deep influence for us to focus into a certain target, and target is always a timeline. It's something we want to experience with the whole body. So you can prepare yourself for that. And as you're preparing yourself for what you're targeting at, you're slowly becoming it. That's the whole mission. Like, for example, if you're practicing in a certain sport, you're preparing to become good at that certain sport so you can become a good athlete. So all the preparation is just making you a better athlete. So at one point you master the sport, and once you master the sport, you start winning, you start manifesting results and rewards and respect and honor and so on. And that's how manifestation works. You first target at something, then you start preparing yourself to live this kind of a life by trials of errors and tapping into that energy of the future and losing it and trying new things and becoming more skillful at being more loving or whatever is that thing. And at some point you master it, and once you master it, you know you've mastered it because you feel it, and once you feel it, it starts happening. You start getting these manifestations, things start shifting in your life, and you just know it's happening because you feel it, and it just feels really, really natural. And that's what Sagittarius is all about, to master a certain timeline that is the most optimal, the most beneficial for you. That's what this new moon is encouraging you to do. So it is really powerful one, and because sun represents the soul archetype, the soul identity, moon then is encouraging you to align your emotional body and psychological body to this soul identity. And we can only become familiar with our soul identity if we become familiar with our deepest qualities that we have. When we reflect on ourselves and we recognize what are our deepest qualities. Have you ever took time and write down your greatest qualities? Like, I'm really creative person. I'm really loving person. I love playfulness. I easily see beauty around me. I easily solve problems. I love challenge myself to solve problems. Or I love social work. I love to help others. I love communities. I find myself really at home when I'm serving in a community. Or, don't limit yourself by what I said, but reflect on your qualities, because that's how you come deeper into your soul identity, where you recognize this is what truly resonates with me, and that's how I want to build my life. That's the timeline I'm looking at. That's what I'm targeting at. So I want to give you 5 things to focus on for this potent new moon that will only encourage you and help you to speed up the process of transformation. So the first one is to prepare yourself for the new chapter that starts with expansion of your goals. And don't look at goals just something you write down and then you never achieve. Often people write down some goals because they feel inspired and then they never look at them, they never work on them. So look at goals as a target. This is what you're aiming towards. And when you have something to aim towards, you recognize, okay, this is my path. Now I need to walk this path. So every time when it comes to walking any kind of a path, we recognize we are carrying a backpack filled with stones. And those stones are memories of the past, pains of the past. And as we're walking the path, what we're recognizing is that this backpack at certain point needs to be released. And when we release the stones, what is left is insights, wisdom, inspiration, knowledge that we've learned through these painful experiences we've been through. So when you have something to aim towards, at the same time you need to have clarity around what you will leave behind. That's the whole purpose of this time. So I would take a great quality of time right now to write down a certain type of a life I really, really want to create out of this moment. Like, this is what I'm working on, to have something to wake up inspired to work on. Even though we don't wake up every day inspired to work on, I still have clarity around why I am waking up every single day. Why I am waking up every single day, right? And if you feel like that, you can only feel like that if you have clarity around this. And if you have clarity around this, you will feel like that. So when you have this, you will also need to identify why I feel it's not possible. Why I feel this life is not possible. And you may say, well, because I'm broke. Oh, because people don't support me, because this is happening, because this and that and blah, blah, blah. And that's where you recognize there are answers when you ask the right questions. And answers come to you through meditations, through guidance that you experience through inner work, through books. The right books will appear, as something I always say to you, because they're just randomly finding us, and we recognize nothing is random, everything is actually just alignment, right? And it's happening right now. I'm seeing for the last 5 months, the right book at the right time is finding me. When it comes to business, I find the right book. I find answers at the times I need it the most to expand myself. The right spiritual book finds me at the right time when I need to know something. But most often, right now, answer just finds me. I meditate and I know what I need to do. So be in tune with yourself, because you will notice that your future self is already leading you into the direction where you want to go. Because it's not wanting that is taking you there. It's actually this depth of your soul that is just leading you towards yourself, because that future you is the most evolved version of yourself and you're intending to become it, right? So your goals are more like a mental game that your mind can be kind of influenced with that future self, so it's not so distracted with everything that's happening in the present moment. So you have something to aim towards, something to anchor yourself to, so you can much easily say no to present distractions because you're saying yes to your soul, to yourself. The second thing is to recognize this inner critic right now. So Sagittarius is this really interesting sign that has great power when it comes to self-overcoming until it becomes something new. So it's deeply focused on self-evolution and transmutation of self. So what we need to recognize right now, you may feel, that's what I felt in recent days, my inner critic was louder than usually. And I felt it then in a sense of fear. More fear was present within my system, more negative thoughts were present in my system. And if we get kinda possessed by it, or not possessed is not the right word, but if we get overwhelmed by it, we may start to believe that it's true, that our thoughts are real, that this fear is real. So it's funny, because at the same time as you're aiming towards something really big and powerful and maybe mystical or whatever, you have more fear and more negativity. And if that's happening to you, it's only a matter of choice. Will you believe those thoughts? Will you surrender to that fear? Or will you recognize that fear just needs to be felt so it can be overcome, right? We can't overcome fear if we don't feel it. If we don't feel it, we are avoiding it. And you can't overcome what you're avoiding. you can't feel what you never reveal to yourself. So it is only reminding you to feel it and then to do it anyway. I want to read a message to you, something I wrote down today, and it deeply resonates with this right now. So, in case you forgot, you're strong, you will make it through. Your fears are meant to be experienced so they can be overcome. You have the wisdom to make the best decision, even when you think you don't. And don't be afraid to make a wrong one. It's a lesson anyway. If you learn, you grow. And if you grow, you let go a bit more of who you are not. So growth leads you to wholeness that fear is trying to stop you from achieving it. So you got this, my friend. If this resonates with you, hit the like button, my friend, and drop a comment down below. Let's see how many people resonates with that. And I think it's so true, because sometimes we are so afraid of making a wrong decision that we rather make no decision. But it's better to make a wrong decision and learn than being stuck and not trying anything at all, right? So take it as a lesson, because Sagittarius is, when it's targeting at something, it also needs to shoot, and it can miss the target, but it still tried. He still tried, and because he tried, he learned something. And that's what life is all about, isn't it so? So look at this time as time for making some decisions that may completely change your life. Like, for some of you, it may be a change of a job, a change of where you're living, going to travel, or starting something new, whatever it is. Take it as a challenge that needs to be taken to get new experiences, because that's what is expanding you, that's what is stretching you. The third thing that I want to remind you is what is leading us from this stretching of ourselves is seeing opportunities where before we've seen obstacles. Seeing opportunities where before we've seen obstacles, it is leading us into an adventure, into finding new experiences. Recognizing that life is nothing without experiences. And most people are living in past experiences because they are not trying something new. They are not expanding themselves. And I want to remind you that deep inside there's part of you that loves exploration, that loves adventure. And maybe you've forgotten about this part of you because I don't know why. And maybe you don't know why. I just want to remind you that there is a part of you that loves adventure. And adventure can be anything. It can be reading a new book, or it can be going to a certain workshop where you may meet new people, or it may be going to travel into unknown places, or starting a new art project. Maybe you felt stuck for some time and now it's time to start that new project, going on an adventure, detach from ideas what it should be and just start working on it. And it may reveal to you some magic, what happens when you actually let go of expectations and you just start flowing with something. And if you recognize what are your good qualities, as psychology is saying, if you spend more time doing what you're already good at, you will most probably experience more happiness and joy in your life. So recognize what you're already good at and try to do more of it. Try to get yourself into things where you're maybe already good at and try to just get better at it. Try to expand your skills, your capabilities a little bit. Sure, don't forget about your weaknesses, but don't spend too much time there, because there's already a part of you that is magnificent. And if you're overwhelmed by your weaknesses, you will forget about your magnificence, right? So pay attention to that. The fourth reminder I want to give you is a really powerful one. Think progress, not perfection. That's what Sagittarius is reminding you. Think progress, not perfection. That is the real spiritual growth, isn't it? Sagittarius is associated with higher learning and spiritual exploration. So you can use this new moon energy to deepen your spiritual practices, whether through meditation, mindfulness, or exploring certain philosophical concepts that resonate with you and can help you to make your life even more blissful. And maybe if you focus on mindfulness right now, as a lot of chaos is happening in the world, also a new world is emerging where people are already becoming more loving, more evolved, wiser, and those kind of people are coming together and creating this new energy that is already in access to all of us. And you can in tune with it through your own spiritual exploration. It doesn't need to be anything mystical, anything out there. You can just go into your inner quietness and tap into the wiser part of you. There's a wiser part of you that is leading the way, and you just need to allow that part of you to lead the way. So for example, when you feel stressed or when you feel in fear or more negative around something, it's because this thinking part of the brain, this neurocortex, is more active, and what we need to learn is to calm down our system, calm down our brain, calm down our nervous system. And when we do that, we access to this calmer state that thinks about life in terms of potential, in terms of beauty, in terms of possibility, in terms of wonder, like what can be. Not what can't be, but what can be, what can happen out of this. And I just want you to do this kind of practices more often right now, especially at the time of this new moon. Because in that state, you become more acceptable for this new energy that may just move through you and inspire you to do something beautiful. As ideas come to you, there's like a source of mind, right? In which all ideas already exist. There's nothing new. Nothing new is ever created. It's only drawn from the field. And you can easily in tune with that field and plug to certain ideas that can transform your life if you practice mindfulness, if you practice what helps you to tap into this inner calmness, stillness, right? So take this wonderful time of this new moon to tap into your inner stillness. It will really enlighten you in many ways, like with new ideas and new wisdom and new insight. So tap into yourself. And the last thing I want to give you is that many new doors are opening for you, and you may already feel a sense of temptation. You may feel like something new is starting and maybe you can't put it into words. What's happening, layers of yourself are slowly falling apart, and your authentic self is emerging through this process of self-actualization as you're working on yourself. And you're working on yourself quite hard, quite loving. You're trying different things and finding out what resonates with you the most. As you're going through this process, you're discovering your authentic self more than ever before. And authentic self basically means inner nature. You're finding out how your inner nature truly feels like. And from that inner nature, you can manifest the life that will resonate with that nature. If your inner nature is creativity, your life will be abundant, because creativity comes from abundance of ideas. So if you recognize that your inner nature is curiosity, your life will be filled with new experiences and wonder and new people. Because that's what curiosity is all about, finding new experiences. If your inner nature is all about love, your life will be filled with beautiful and generous relationships, with wonderful experience of the self, again, beautiful creativity, and great groundedness, great connection with animals, with nature, with earth, and so on. If your inner nature is what you may call philosophical self, you have this love for learning, love for wisdom, You will always find yourself in a position of a teacher. You will always find yourself somewhere where people will be coming to you for an advice. So at this point, you may just discover a bit more of this authenticity, of this nature of yourself. So just pay attention how your life is unfolding right now. And if any of these things are happening to you, just accept it. Know that everything is just helping you to evolve and to become more familiar with who you truly are. So my friends, this is it for today. I hope you found something valuable here. And I want to say thanks to all of you for also joining us in our Patreon community. We will also do a live guided meditation for this new moon in our Patreon, on our Patreon. And also thanks to all of you for supporting my art in our INTESE store. I Draw My Passion. The link to our store is in the description of this video. So thank you so much for your support. And till next time, one love.